Angels Care Home Health, serving Hayes and the surrounding areas, is a Medicare-certified home health agency providing quality skilled nursing and restorative therapy services to patients in their homes.
They're polite. They just take the time for you.
Angels Care is there to help 24 hours a day, and all services are covered 100% by Medicare for patients who are eligible.
I like the Angels for what they've done for me.
Angels Care Home Health. We serve patients.
Eagle Community Television presents Community Connection with your host, Mike Cooper.
Hello and welcome again to Community Connection from Eagle Community Television. Thanks for watching. Thanks as always to the producer of our series, Jeff Durrell. We're at TMP Marian on the campus and in the Latin room, which is actually the chess practice room here at TMP Marian with chess and science teacher, teaching chemistry at TMP Marian, Randy Brule, and also the associate chess instructor and Latin teacher at TMP Marian, Kevin Nyberg, talking about the 3A state champion chess team. And you can see the trophies displayed here. This is, Randy, the 3A plaque, right?
Plaque. I suppose that's the one we're most proud of. That was our goal this year, was to see if we couldn't get to the top of the 3A. There's some good schools in the state that have played good chess all the time in the 3A group. So Erie and Cherryvale were the two that were strong competition for us.
Those were the formidable opponents.
Yeah, we knew they'd be tough.
But TMP prevailed as 3A state champions.
Well, that we did.
Now, what about this other trophy then, Kevin?
Well, the other trophy was overall in scholastic chess in Kansas. Every school potentially plays every other school, and so there's an overall championship bracket called the Sweepstakes bracket, and in that we placed third behind two 6A schools, Lawrence High and Blue Valley Northwest, and actually we tied Blue Valley Northwest for second and third, but we got the third place trophy on tie breaks.
We're talking about schools that have many times the student population of TMP Marian.
Yes, we're talking about schools that have 2,000 students and a huge base to choose from, and we have about 300 students.
Let's talk about chess with our guests today on our Community Connection. Randy, for obviously the secret of success to achieve a 3A state champion, what does it take?
Well, I'll say a little bit about that, but I think the man who's got our team into state championship caliber is sitting on the other end of the table. They got to get started young. Kids that just start playing chess when they're freshmen, that's kind of tough. Same kind of thing as if they just start playing band, for instance, as a freshman. That's a lot of catching up to do. But in Hayes here, we're fortunate to have a program at the library, and that gets some kids started. With our junior high, we've got them started. So if we can get them their freshman year where they can play a decent game of chess, I'd say that's step one, and I will pass the question to my colleague for step two.
And before we go to Kevin, that program at the library that you referenced has been led by Randy Brule for many, many years.
Yes, it has. Thank you.
We're kind of pushing the envelope here and getting that young team ready. So, Kevin, what would you add to what Randy said?
Practice. You practice a lot. Now, practice isn't just moving pieces around on a board. Practice takes place under controlled circumstances. You examine and practice the basics of the game. It's rather like football, except here are your football players right here. We train them in using a chess clock. We don't have a clock out here now, but the game is played under a time limit, so we put them into tournament-style conditions at least once a week. We train them in that. We train them in the opening phase of the game. We train them in middle game strategy and tactics. We train them in the end game. And so after all of that training, we ask them to apply that in a real competitive situation. And then on top of all of that, we examine games. We examine professional games. We look at why professionals play the moves they play, and then try to get our players to imitate that as much as they possibly can.
And how about the setup? Do you match more experienced players with those who are just coming into the program? How does that work, Kevin?
Actually, we do about everything. We'll play the stronger players against the stronger players. We'll play stronger players against the weaker players. In our own practice sessions, we have a club ladder. And the club ladder is a way to determine who is at the time about the strongest player in the club. And anybody can challenge the top player for that position. And so we had a number of changes in the top of the ladder all year long. And so anybody can play against anybody else, and that reflects what would happen in an actual tournament, since in an actual tournament, you could have a wide range of skill levels matched up against each other.
Randy, what does a student gain, you think, by learning and competing in chess? What are the advantages for a student at TMP Marian?
One of the big things, obviously, is planning. You got to plan ahead, and it's not exactly to the point where you say, well, I can see 10 moves ahead, but students need to see what the possibilities are and realize that they got to make choices. You can't have everything. You only get one move when it's your turn, and maybe you'd like to have 2 or 3, but that never happens. So you have to make the best with limited resources. I think emotional steadiness is another thing that's really important in chess, and realizing that when things don't go well, it's still necessary to to stay calm and make the best of whatever situation is there. And, of course, there's probably a dozen more, but I think those are good for starters.
Kevin, what would you add to what Randy said?
Well, I think it gives a student a sense of how to deal with new situations under pressure. And I think that's overall a level of poise. These are new situations. They have to solve problems. They have to solve problems in a competitive situation. And so this is good experience in that kind of a pressure cooker.
Seems to me like, too, they have to make good judgments and make those judgments based on facts and reality as opposed to just emotional judgments, correct?
Yes. This is a fact-based game. Somebody once said that the chess combination lays bare the fiction of a lie, the merciless fact culminating in checkmate confounds the hypocrite.
That's quite a statement.
It was said by Emanuel Lasker, world champion in the early 1900s.
Wow. Going that far back, he already had a definitive definition of the game, didn't he?
Yes, and we do examine historical players. I have an extensive library back behind you here of books covering all aspects of the game and all times of the game. And that's part of what learning to play chess is about.
What about a farm team, Randy? Young people coming into the program. We're going to meet a couple of seniors that are leaving the program. Right. But what about the new kids?
Well, it's nice to have a junior high. I guess that would be a big summation there. We have had, over the past 4 years since we've had a junior high, we've certainly encouraged them to play chess, and we've had a competitive team at that level every year that they've been here. And so that means that by the time they're freshmen and they're competing against the high school students, they're not newbies anymore. They understand the game, and there are always a few of them that embarrass me from time to time. So I'm glad to see that in a way, I guess.
Kevin, can you spot a potential good chess player coming in, or do they develop? Is there something you look for as an associate instructor?
Well, there's two different approaches. There is the player with natural talent, and you can see that happen within about a year of entering into formal chess training. They pick up everything, You don't have to mention or suggest an idea twice. Once they learn something, they play it all of the time. And then you have a player like me. And as a player, I have exactly no natural talent. I'm not kidding. I have exactly no natural talent. Everything I know how to do in chess, I learned how to do, and it was often painful. And that's the other type of player, the average person who learns and learns and learns the basics of the game and then can apply them. The player I just mentioned, Emanuel Lasker from the early 20th century, said in the 1930s that given 100 hours of instruction, he could take an average human being from total beginner to master. And well, most people think he was optimistic. But there are people who have learned what to do in the game as opposed to players who have natural talent. And so then we aim at both kinds.
Our congratulations to the 3A team members, the state champions for 2016, the Kansas State Championship brought to TMP Marian, thanks to the efforts of TMP Marian science teacher Randy Brule, who joined the team in 1984 here at TMP Marian, and to Kevin Nyberg, who is the Latin teacher and associate chess instructor at TMP Marian, going on about 3 years now, I believe. And our congratulations once again to the team and to TMP Marian, our community connection.
Angels Care Home Health, serving Hayes and the surrounding areas, is a Medicare-certified home health agency providing quality skilled nursing and restorative therapy services to patients in their homes.
And the Angel Care nurse comes to see me once a week.
Angels Care is there to help 24 hours a day, and all services are covered 100% by Medicare for patients who are eligible.
Angel Care has helped to stay home.
Angels Care Home Health. We serve patients.
The TMP Marian 3A 2016 state championship team had 2 seniors on the team. The program at TMP Marian, thanks to the input of the associate chess instructor and Latin teacher Kevin Nyberg, is strong at TMP Marian. There were 8 high school students competing. There are 7 competing at TMP Marian Junior High, and there are 6 team members from Holy Family Elementary, and the youngest player being a 3rd grader at Holy Family Elementary. Well, the 2 seniors are joining us on our community connection, Justice Briney, who is a senior and from Hayes, and Patrick Kepka, who is a senior from Dorrance, 2 members of the team. Justice, describe that championship meet, if you would, from your perspective.
Well, we had a bit of a rough start. We had a lot of losses to start off the first and second round, which is never very good. We have a bit of a safety net when it comes to how the point system works team-wise, but it's really best if we get everybody to win at least the first 2 rounds so that once we start playing those tougher players as we move on, that we don't take those hard losses without already having quite a bit of a lead. We kept fighting after those first couple of rounds, and we were able to come out on top of 3A by quite a little bit.
What would you add, Patrick, to what Justice said about the pressure that was on with those early match losses?
Well, I won my early games, but I knew after we lost some of those early ones that I think we could make a comeback and do well at the state chess meet, and we did make a comeback and got it.
So when Justice was talking about those losses, he wasn't talking about Patrick then, was he?
No.
There must have been somebody else that was involved. Is there a lot of pressure during those state meets then?
There is a certain amount of pressure. Patrick and I have been doing this for 4 years, so he might disagree with me, but I know that I've gotten used to the pressure that comes, especially when I know that the opponent I'm going to be playing is quite a bit better than me. I just go in there and try my best because we've both had a lot of upsets on much better players this year.
It's kind of a mindset then, isn't it? You've got to go in with your mind in a particular place.
Yes, you just have to remember that even if they're a higher rating than you, if you know that they're a very good player, that if you play the best of your ability, one mistake is all it can take for that game to turn in your favor.
Patrick, how'd you get involved in chess?
I played when I was like second and third grade, but I didn't like play at chess tournaments. But I played off and on until freshman year. Mr. Brule asked me if I was interested in playing chess, and I said I was pretty interested. And my first tournament, I didn't do real well. Only got 2 points out of 6. But after that, I worked hard, and I've done pretty well in every tournament since I first won.
Like many competitions, you learn from the experience, don't you?
Yeah.
And what about you, Justice?
I started about the same time Patrick did. My grandfather taught me how to play around second grade, and I'm actually from Ness City, and that's a much smaller town than Hayes. We had nowhere to play chess or anything like that. I just played with my grandfather whenever I was around there, but when I came freshman year, I made the decision to come up to TMP. I joined the chess team, and I just slowly got stronger and stronger in the game as we went on, thanks to Mr. Brule and Mr. Nyberg.
Same question that I ask our instructors, I'd like to ask you guys. What does chess do for you? What do you like about chess, Patrick?
I think it gives you a strong train of thought. I mean, it makes you think deeper, and it applies to like school. And I know like how to like study for stuff and study for school things.
You're a senior now. Plans for college?
Our Justice over there is planning to start like a chess club in Fort Hays, and I'm interested in joining that too, and maybe play some USCF tournaments over the summer. That's what I plan to do.
You're going to Fort Hays then?
Yes.
All right. Major picked out yet?
In agriculture.
Congratulations then on your senior year. Justice, no chess team at Fort Hays State yet?
Well, it's not necessarily a chess team. They just have different organizations over there, and they didn't have a chess club. I was told that if I got enough people and I got a sponsor that I could get one started, and hopefully we could go to different tournaments, whatever they have here in Kansas.
So there's a potential then for recruiting some members to a chess club at Fort Hays State then?
Yes.
Okay. What does chess do for you, Justin?
Well, it gives me an opportunity to enjoy something that not other many people like to do, and I get to go out there and meet new people that are interested in the same thing that I am. I've loved chess ever since I first learned how to play it, and I'm not necessarily physically inclined, so it helps me since I'm more of a mental person.
What about future plans for a major at Fort Hays State then?
I'm planning on going into mathematics and education to become a high school math teacher.
Congratulations and best of luck to both of you. To our guests today, Justice Brainy from Hayes and Patrick Koepka from Dorrance. Actually, Justice from Ness City. Let's give Ness credit there, too. Our seniors on the member of the 2016 Kansas State Championship, Class 3A, first place chess team at TMP Marian, our community connection.
Angels Care Home Health, serving Hayes and the surrounding areas, is a Medicare-certified home health agency providing quality skilled nursing and restorative therapy services to patients in their homes.
And the Angel Care nurse comes to see me once a week.
Angels Care is there to help 24 hours a day, and all services are covered 100% by Medicare for patients who are eligible.
Angel Care has helped to stay home.
Angels Care Home Health. We serve patients.